I heard about this man. He was walking by the ocean, walking, and then all of a sudden, he hear, "Hi, hello, down here." Oh, a talking frog. He said, "Hello, hi, hi." Said, "Well, don't look at me, but if you pick me up and you kiss me, I'm going to become a beautiful princess and you can marry me." So this old man pick up the frog, put it into his pocket. I said, "Hey, you're not going to kiss me?" He said, "Nah, at my age, I'd rather have a talking frog." Frog jokes. But I want to talk to you today about at their level. At their level. We will see what I'm talking about in a minute. But first, I want to recognize and acknowledge all the stickers that we all, hopefully all received at the entrance of the service saying, "100 days, bring them home." Do you have it? I hope so, because this is something that is going to happen tomorrow. We are going to reach the 100th day of this war against Hamas, and 100th day since many of our brothers and sisters were taken into captivity. They became hostages of Hamas. And since that moment happened, since October 7th, we actually did whatever we could to honor them, to send them love, and to try to do whatever we could to find ways to bring them home, but also find ways of keeping their situation alive, and in the sense that people start to forget. If you look at read the news, you watch the TV, it's like for many TV channels, it's like the hostages don't exist anymore. Nobody talks about that anymore. So it's our responsibility that people won't forget that there are so many of our brothers and sisters that they are in captivity and they need us to do whatever we can. But this is very interesting, because when I say they need us to do whatever we can, the first question that we ask ourselves is, what can I do? And we try to think ways, we try to think things that we can do to generate awareness and to bring a change on their situations so we can bring them home. But what do we do? That's the big question. But before I answer that question, I want to tell you that my wife, she had an idea when she asked herself, what can I do? And these are things that makes me very proud, because what she did is, instead of trying to figure out what to do, she decided to go and contact one of the families of one of the hostages. And she asked them, what can I do? Instead of trying to figure it out, she went and asked them. And of course, I said, you think that you're going to get an answer after probably thousands of people trying to contact them? And she did. And she engaged in a back and forth with one of the families of one of the hostages. And I said, one of the things that you can do, they told her, one of the things you can do is to highlight every day that went since October 7th. So for her, today will be day 99, and she will make it very public. She will put it on her social media. And the other thing is something like this. You write the number, maybe in your clothes or somewhere else, so everybody will know which day it is. It's not something that happened long ago. It happened only 99 days ago. And then what do you do tomorrow? Nothing. You get a Sharpie, you cross it, and you write 100. And the day after, you cross it and you write 101. But my point here is that perhaps there is a principle here. When we want to help the hostages, or somebody else, and we start thinking, what can we do to help? Perhaps the principle is sometimes what you have to do is simply to ask the other person, what can I do for you? Instead of me trying to guess what it is. Let me tell you a story from this week's Parsha. Because in chapter 7, and it's a shame because the Torah reading today started on chapter 7, but just after this, we just missed this verse. When God said to Moses, right, to go to the first time that he said, you have to go see Pharaoh. And God said to Moses, see, I place you in the role of God to Pharaoh. Okay? These are the words that in fact, it's very interesting because God said to Moses, I'm going to make you like Elohim to Pharaoh. Right? And it's very strange usage of the Hebrew language. I can understand if the Torah would say, Moses, I will make you, be like an important person in front of Pharaoh, or I can make, but no, why God is saying to Moses, I will make you God in front of Pharaoh. And second question is, why the verse starts with the word see? God wasn't showing Moses anything. So let's start first answering the first question. Why the usage of the word God in this context? And the rabbi says something very interesting. It is because Moses was going to go to see Pharaoh. Pharaoh believed he was God. And in order to take somebody in front of him seriously, you will also have to be somebody who also had some kind of God-like attributes. In other words, what God was saying to Moses is, hey, you're going to go see Pharaoh. He believes he's God. If you want to connect with him, you have to show some empathy. You have to show him that you are at the same level. So I'm going to make you look like a God to him so you can talk as equals. And when God said to Moses, see, it means that whenever you're going to approach someone, look at them. And I can tell you something. If you can look at the people that you're addressing, and you can somehow find ways to be at their level, to meet them at their level, you have better chances to connect with them. So that's what God was saying to Moses. See, look, you're not going to talk to somebody. You're going to talk to Pharaoh. So when you talk to Pharaoh, you have to be in a certain way. Sometimes when you talk to the Jewish people, you will have to meet them at their level. And it's something that you have to see and be aware. Don't try to guess how they are. Get to know them, and then you are going to be better at communicating with them. So it's interesting how sometimes in life we have to learn this. We have to learn to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. We have to learn to develop empathy with somebody else whenever we want to connect with people. It's not easy, but it's something that we should all learn. Let me tell you a story, because at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, there was something that I never imagined that is going to happen, but all the hair salons were closed. Remember those days? And it's not that it wasn't a problem for me, but for my son, who is going to cut his hair. He's a little boy, I don't know if you remember those days, their hair grows like crazy, super fast. So I had an idea. I would go to the internet, I will watch YouTube videos, and I will learn how to cut the hair so I can do it for my son. So what I did is I started to go to different different channels that they teach how to cut hair, and I would subscribe to them, right? And you know what YouTube does when you do something like that? They started to suggest to you similar things. So even to this day, they still send me videos that they are somehow related to hair cutting, okay? But it was one video that I saw recently that shocked me because it took me off guard. I thought it was all about cutting hair. And it was about this woman who goes to her hairdresser, okay? She was a customer there, and she was telling him that this time she needed the head shaven because she was going to go through a chemotherapy treatment, and she needed the hairdresser to go with the clipper and cut all her hair. And she starts crying because she didn't know how people are going to react when they were going to look at her, and she's going to look so different, okay? So the hairdresser, he actually used the clipper to cut all this hair. Immediately after, he took the clipper and cut his own hair in front of her. And the barber sitting in the chair next to them, who was looking at what's going on, did exactly the same thing. To make her feel better, they were able to empathize by placing themselves on her place. And you could see in the video immediately how much better. She was crying, but there were different kind of tears. Tears of people who could understand her, and they were making an effort to connect with them. So, as I was thinking about the 100 days, what can we do to honor the hostages, to honor the IDF soldiers that they're fighting for us in Israel? What can we do? We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have to know what they are asking us to do. What they are asking us to do, don't let people forget which day it is. So wear it with pride, the sticker. And on Monday, cross the 0, put a 1, 101. And on Tuesday, 102. Until we don't have to add any more numbers, because they are all going to be back with us. So it's an obligation for us to keep their memories alive, to don't let the world forget that they are in captivity. And we also should remember that we should do whatever we can to listen to what they are asking us to do, meet them at their level, to honor them the way they want us to honor their loved ones. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.